that start streaming button. Winky face, and we're live. We should be
Good
live.
evening.
Good morning.
We've got quite a few topics tonight. Not quite as many as normal. We've got 9 topics.
We've fallen short.
Starting off with Mixer being killed off by Microsoft, which means that Ninja and Shroud are free agents again. Speaking of Microsoft, Microsoft Teams is now available for personal use. Speaking of services being killed off, Google's photo printing service is being killed off at the end of June. There were a lot of Apple news articles that I saw, but
Yeah.
one of the biggest ones that I saw was Apple saying that future Macs will use processors built by Apple. And when I say future Macs, I mean Macs coming up really soon, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, like this year. Space Perspective wants to take tourists on balloon rides to the stratosphere.
Hopefully in VR.
Nope, real life.
Really?
Nope. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we've got
Wow.
a few gaming topics. Star Wars Squadrons is a new Star Wars game.
All right.
And then, have you seen any of the videos about?
I never even heard of it.
Yeah. It's not come out yet, but it'll be. I guess it's on pre-release right now or pre-order. EA is bringing Apex Legends to Switch and adding a lot of their games to the Steam library or the Steam store. And then we've got Google fact-checking images. Don't worry, sharks are not swimming down the street.
Yeah, their example is pretty great.
And then finally, a list of 5 reasons to buy a Chromebook. We'll let you know if they're good reasons or not.
I think it's actually pretty good advice on some of them.
Yeah. So, starting with Mixer, Microsoft Mixer is pretty new in the grand scheme of things, and we actually streamed on Mixer for a few weeks, but now Microsoft has decided that they've spent a lot of money and it's not working out for them, so they are killing off Mixer.
Not even we stream on in there anymore. Shows you how dead it was.
So now Twitch is, believe it or not, Twitch is going to survive.
Wasn't even close.
So the service will be ended on July 22nd, which is super soon.
Okay, I was about to say that's today. Today's June 22nd.
Yeah. So one more month.
Yeah.
And then something about existing streamers being rerouted to Facebook gaming, which we've talked about a little bit.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting that Microsoft is teaming up with Facebook.
I guess it's better than going to Amazon, which is Twitch, or YouTube.
Yeah. And then, let's see, Ninja and Shroud are getting their full payouts from their Mixer deals. So if you weren't aware, Mixer paid Shroud and Ninja, who are very popular streamers, paid them to switch away from Twitch and start streaming on Mixer to get more audience on Mixer, but that obviously didn't quite work out. But they're still getting their money, so.
Yeah, here's a paragraph here. I'm going to switch back to my screen. It said Facebook offered had too much water today. Facebook offered an insane offer at almost double of the original Mixer contracts of Ninja and Shroud. According to this guy's name, the management company that handles both Ninja and Shroud declined the offer. Ninja made $30 million from Mixer and Shroud made $10 million.
So this offer from Facebook was enormous, to say the least. Yeah. Wow. So they must be they must think that going back to Twitch will work out for them. Otherwise, I think they would have taken that deal.
They're thinking that they can make more money off of betting on Twitch.
Yeah.
Than sure money.
Yeah, or there could have been something in the deal saying that they couldn't post videos on YouTube or something like that. Because I know for a fact that Shroud also has a YouTube channel, or maybe two. So there could have been something else in that Facebook offer that
would have
kept
broke
them
the
from.
deal.
Yeah. It's not all about the money, apparently.
It's all about the money. That's all we ever do. So Microsoft Teams.
Yes.
The worst program in all of Windows 10 is apparently going to be available for personal use as it targets friends and families. So you've used Teams before, right?
I have not used Teams before.
Oh, no. Okay.
I've used Skype. Yeah.
Okay.
I've used Skype, which Microsoft Teams is kind of trying to replace Skype, which Skype is also owned by Microsoft. So I know that a lot of Teams competitors also have free versions. For example, one of their biggest competitors is Slack, which has video calls, audio calls, as well as text channels. But Slack has a business product, but you can also get free Slack accounts with some limitations. Like it only saves a certain amount of messages.
Okay.
And yeah, so it looks like Microsoft Teams is offering a free version to get people to try and migrate over to Teams. Yeah. It's a good way to get people to demo Teams and then hopefully, I guess, pay you money, which makes sense.
No, I've never used Teams though, so I've never given them a fair shot.
Yeah.
But every customer computer that comes in now has Teams that starts on startup.
Huh.
And no one's ever signed into it. No, none of my customers have ever been signed into Teams. Now there may have been one time at some point, but
yeah.
It's one of those.
The majority of your customers don't.
At default at this rate is that when I get a computer in, I just disable Teams from startup because nobody uses it. I've yet to meet somebody who does that I've remembered. But like, even most of my family stuff we just do through Facebook chat. It's convenient and it works, and we already all have it. It's not another app, which is the great part.
But we've also talked about some of the advantages of using something like Zoom or Skype, where you may not necessarily want to be Facebook friends with somebody that you need to hop on a call with. Like if it's a work thing or like a city council meeting or something.
Yeah.
So I do think that there's a place for Teams in something like that.
But for personal use, that's kind of odd.
It's super convenient to have Facebook, yeah.
Speaking of convenient things that are now no longer around, I feel like they released this service when we were doing live streams, so it's not even that old. I feel like we talked about when it started.
You may be right. So Google has Photos, which is the app. I guess it's the default photo app on my new Android phone.
Okay.
But Google also had a photo printing service where I guess they would print off some of your more popular photos. Yeah, I do think.
Yeah, we definitely talked about this. So it's not even that old of a thing.
Yeah, wow. That was a short trial.
But so it looks like from the article that it's ending here next week. So if you wanted your photos printed through Google at a price,
$7.99 for 10 photos, which is actually kind of expensive.
80 cents a photo or so.
Yeah. I guess you're also paying for the convenience, obviously, and getting it shipped to your house. So that's where some of the money goes. But in comparison, going to like a what do you call it, like a pharmacy or a CVS or Walgreens or whatever.
Convenience store.
Yeah, you can, or even I think Walmart might do it. You can take a USB or take your phone and get photos printed off, and I think it's like 40 cents a photo. So that's a lot cheaper than this Google
Yeah.
Photos.
Yeah,
But
and
the Google
apparently-
Photos thing is a convenience thing. I think that's what the selling
Yeah.
point is,
Yeah, and then
or was.
it's saying here that it would randomly select, not random, it would AI select your photos that printed, so you didn't have to choose. It was like you could select across 3 categories: people and pets, landscapes, or a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And then apparently that AI chose which photos just got printed and sent to you. So it's almost like
Gotcha.
a loot box of your
Yeah, it
personal
is, actually.
photos.
That's a good way of putting it.
We're gonna sneak this fan on.
And this article also says that it could return as a product, but it's being discontinued for now. So this was mainly, well, it was a trial for this photo printing service, and the trial is ending. So you never know what could happen in the future.
Maybe photos will get cheaper to print.
Yeah. Or ship, which is probably where a lot of the cost goes.
So apparently the Apple WWDC, Worldwide Developer Conference or something,
Yeah.
happened today, I believe. Today? I think it was today.
I'm actually not sure. Definitely happened this week, though.
WWDC 2020.
There
Monday.
was a lot of stuff mentioned in there. iOS 14 will have a new home screen. I think it's going to be more similar to Android, so with widgets that you can drag around and actually being able to reorder your apps, as opposed to them just being in an order.
Auto align, or auto.
Yeah, auto aligned. Yeah.
All that fun stuff.
And then macOS Big Sur, which is, I think, an operating system for a television. But the most interesting thing that I saw was Apple saying that they're going to start using Intel-built processors built by Apple in their Macs.
You think they have a chance?
I mean, they're a really big company, so I feel like they wouldn't have announced that if they didn't have the plans in place to do that.
Yeah.
But there are advantages of using processors built by a company that, I mean, specializes in building electronics like that. So even though it might be nice to do a lot of stuff in-house, there's a reason for outsourcing certain things.
Yeah, like they still buy the Samsung screens, I believe.
Yeah. Like, at what point does it make sense to outsource rather than build everything yourself? But apparently they think it's worth it.
Yeah. Another neat thing that I heard was that apparently for some car keys, they have this Apple CarPlay and digital car keys. And so instead of having to pull out your smart key, you could just have like your phone be your keys, which would be a neat little thing that if eventually you got to a point where you didn't have to carry keys anymore.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I see this down here, which says the first supported car is the 2021 BMW 5 Series, which will be released next month. So they're obviously working with BMW there. And then keys can also be shared through an iMessage, and users can deactivate keys remotely through iCloud, which is kind of interesting. So if you had to have a buddy move your car or something, like your car's out in the driveway at a party or something, and someone has to back out from in front of you, you could send them your key to move your car.
Or even if you're like not home on vacation or something.
Yeah.
I guess the inconvenient part of that is like if you go on vacation and you don't think whoever you're having check your house for you shouldn't have to move your car, so you don't give them keys, and then there's like a giant fire and it's like, well, now they can't at least move the car.
Yeah.
They can't save at least one thing because they wouldn't have any type of access to
any physical key. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea. Simply just having less things in your pockets.
Yeah, just for the convenience, really. A new feature on the AirPods, which will allow it to automatically switch between your phone and your Apple computer, rather than having to go into the Bluetooth settings and disable and select the other device. Kind of neat, I guess. Kind of convenient.
I will say, 'cause my phone, if I leave Bluetooth on, I go from like the motorcycle to the car or motorcycle to the garage or something where I have Bluetooth set up. If I turn off the one Bluetooth device that's playing the music, it'll auto search for the next one to play music on. So I can go straight from listening to my earbuds on the motorcycle, pull into the garage, take my earbuds out, and it will start playing in the garage.
The difference with this is it's actually switching the device that the audio is coming from. So like your headphones would be either listening to your computer to play music or listening to your phone.
Okay.
So I guess it's kind of cool.
Shame it can't connect to both.
And yeah, some of their apps are changing a little bit, but nothing big that I saw.
This is not a VR thing.
Nope. Space Perspective, which is the name of a company, wants to take tourists on balloon rides to the stratosphere. So I had to look it up to see what the stratosphere is. But there's, the Earth has the atmosphere. There's the troposphere, which is the first layer around the Earth. And then there's the stratosphere, which is the next layer. And I think it said it's up to 31 miles or something is
30 kilometers?
the distance. 31 miles is the distance from, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'm just looking up a Google image. Oh, you're right. 31 miles looks like the top of the strato. Is where the stratopause is.
And these balloons will go up to, it said, about 100,000 feet, which is 18 miles. So somewhere in the mid-range of the stratosphere.
Where a spy jet would be, according to this Google image.
So watch out for any spy jets. Don't get hit by a spy jet.
If you look up, you'll find yourself a little bit of water balloons. Or weather balloons. Hope we don't find a water balloon up that high, right? It'd be hail by the time it reached back down.
So basically, it's just going to be kind of a cool thing for people with a lot of money to do, to be able to see the Earth from the perspective of space. I mean, the name of the company, Space Perspective. It's going to be about $100,000, I think they said, for a ticket.
Oof.
Or that's what they're estimating or guessing. So it's pretty expensive, yeah. And this balloon will have room for 1 pilot and 8 passengers. And the craft will feature seats, a bar, a bathroom, and huge windows that will allow for great views of Earth. Yeah.
Now, you'll have to remind me. Is it the lower down you go, the more you're able to, your more alcoholic consumption you can have, or is it the higher up? I believe it's the lower, right? It's like people would go down into caves and drink, and then they couldn't get out of caves.
I have no idea.
I think it's the lower your altitude, the more you can drink. So having a bar in the stratosphere. Like, I wonder how many people are going to get sick simply not knowing.
I don't know.
I really hope someone would put a couple of VR cameras in there and then turn this into a VR experience. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah. I wonder if they could do something like that with a just a normal weather balloon. Because it's the same concept, right? Except this is way, way bigger. than a weather balloon, obviously to carry people rather than just carry some weather instruments. And also, this thing will only be up in the air for, it says about 2 hours in the stratosphere. So
Okay.
obviously the trip up there and the trip back, but it's really not that long of a time.
But I'll say after 2 hours, I don't know how much more you would really want to look at the Earth.
Yeah, yeah. Look at a lot of clouds, probably.
Yeah. It would almost be cool to go all the way around or something.
Hmm.
Say that you had the planet circle all the way under you.
In a balloon, that would be weird. I mean, it's cool. It's so expensive that it's not going to affect the majority of us in any way, but it is kind of neat.
Yeah, but if you want to send us there, I'll do it. Speaking of doing things, your room got really dark. Oh.
Yeah, depending on which ad or article I click, depending on how light the background is.
And this video was brought to you by nephew.tech.com. We do techie things.
And jmartmedia.com. We do programming video things.
You do Jmart Media things.
Those things.
I hear you have a huge video series coming up, and you're gonna do all the programming. You're gonna teach people how to hack.
No, not allowed on YouTube.
EA is bringing. Oh no, we're on that one. I can count to 6, right? Star Wars
occasionally.
Squadrons. Yeah.
Yes, so Star Wars Squadrons is a new game, and it's going to focus on the flying the little fighter ships. I don't know what you call them. The space
T-wings.
cars. The space cars.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, well, it's going to have a single player campaign and then also some multiplayer battles.
So it's
I
all
thought
gonna be
that-
space.
Yes. Yeah, it's all going to be about the like dogfighting the little fighter spaceship things. I thought this could be the first Star Wars game that I was actually interested in. But then after watching one of the promo videos and hearing that the multiplayer is just going to be, I think, 5 versus 5, I kind of lost a lot of my interest there. I never really got into the Star Wars series, so I wasn't really interested in the games.
You ever
So
played
never really-
Battlefront?
I've definitely played it,
Okay.
but I've
what
never
did you
owned
think?
it. I've just played it going over to a friend's house and
Okay.
hopping on an Xbox or something.
I used to love Battlefront 1.
And that's the like shooter game, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
like any other team versus
Gotcha,
team
yeah.
shooting game.
Just with the Star Wars.
Yep. Star Wars
Twist.
skinned.
There's another game similar to that came out recently, right? Another Star Wars game. Oh man. Let me see if I can find it.
So the one thing I have to give, I assume it's EA doing this one, is that Star Wars Squadrons will be $40 across all platforms at this time. There is no digital deluxe or collector's edition available above that.
That's nice.
So there's not like a $40 and a $60 and a $90 and $120.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's another game that was recently released. Another Star Wars game that was recently released. I think it's also a shooter / Jedi. I don't know. Fighting game.
Yeah. They all start to blend
And then-
together.
Yeah, there will also be VR support in Squadrons, which is
Oh.
could be kind of cool.
I think it'd be a lot of fun, actually. But I
If
have
you're
played.
in- Go ahead.
I have played one game in space in VR, and it was nauseating. Having your chair in space like rotate, which is essentially just the entire world rotating around you.
Yeah.
And then gravity still just, holding you to your chair is a super nauseating feeling.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's different in actual space, or if that's just something that they have to learn to not be grounded or something.
Yeah.
Or if it's a lot more natural because there is no gravity or whatever you want to call it. G-force.
Was the game that you were playing pretty involved, or was it more of a relaxing game?
It was supposed to be involved. I ended up just sitting in my space chair trying to go forward.
Gotcha.
It was pretty nauseating. It was hard.
I feel like maybe if the game had been a little bit more action packed and there were things to draw that you could focus on rather than just thinking about how weird it was that you were rotating around, maybe that would have helped with the kind of motion sickness, because you would be, actively focusing on something else. So maybe it'll be different with this game.
Yeah, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how they handle it.
Yeah.
What do we got?
And
Google's doing a thing. Oh, this Apex Legends. I've never played it. Have you?
I have played Apex Legends. It's okay. It's just another. I mean, I say it's just another, but it's a battle royale game where you need 3 people to play. I wasn't really super excited about that moving to Switch, although I guess it's kind of cool. But it is interesting that EA is bringing a lot of their other games to Steam.
Hallelujah. I like that.
So rather than needing your EA Access subscription, or however they do their games, you can just get them on Steam, which is just a lot more convenient. Some of those games include Titanfall 2, The Sims 4, Dead Space 3, and A Way Out.
Right this second.
And Need for Speed Most Wanted.
But it's good to see games going to all the platforms.
Yeah.
Nothing bad about that.
Not for the consumer. It's much simpler.
Yeah. If everything's just right at your fingertips.
Yeah.
If everything just works. Which is one of the selling points of a Chromebook. It just works. But there's 5 solid selling points here in this great article from 9 to 5 Google. And I'm one of those guys. They'll tell you that Chromebooks are pretty great.
Okay.
I don't personally own one though, but
yeah,
if all you do is use the internet, there's no reason.
Which is what most people do. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no reason not to go with a Chromebook. We could almost do most of the live stream on a Chromebook, aside from OBS and the Restream software.
Yeah. So first on the list is price.
So you can buy super crazy expensive ones, but like you can buy new good Chromebooks like $350, $400, and that's an amazing idea.
And then that completely blows MacBooks out of the water. And then even for Windows machines, if you're paying that little amount of money, the Windows machine is probably
it's probably
not going to run flawlessly.
Yeah. So like I tell a lot of my customers, for laptops, they can get a refurbished laptop that's a few years older in the $400 range or so, and it'd be a good it'll be a good laptop, because when it came out it would have been in that $800,000 range for a laptop.
Yeah.
But then if you want a new laptop, you're looking at like $600 or more for anything of a decent Windows machine, in my opinion. Because otherwise you're going to be stuck with, it's still new hardware, but it's new hardware that's not even close to last year's hardware. It's just so underpowered for what most people would want it for.
And then second on the list, battery life.
This one I find a little funny, battery life, because Chrome is famous for using up so much RAM,
Yeah.
which you think would mean that it's more of a resource heavy
Mm-hmm.
utility. And if you think resource heavy, you think short battery life, short battery span. It heats up a lot, and then
True.
It doesn't. it lasts forever.
So I guess
the
the
charge.
reason for this is because, like, when you're on your computer, how often do you have Chrome open?
All the time, 100%.
All the time. And it'll be the same on the Chromebook. But the difference with the Chromebook is that you won't have other programs running as well.
Yep.
So generally on my computer, I have Discord open, and then, I mean, Steam's running in the background.
Yes, I have.
And then Chrome open. But
yeah. Like, even right now, I have 9 different programs running in the background, just from my little tiny arrow in the bottom right corner of Windows. But
Gotcha.
I closed 4? 4 of them before the stream, just to help with my computer not dying so badly. Yeah. I mean, I think that so far we've done pretty good on computer usage. No crashes in like a month, which means we're doing something right here. The next one is a huge sale for older people and college students. The form factor, because everyone wants a super small, super light laptop, except me. I'm like, nah, man. I want that thing made out of metal. I want it to weigh 12 pounds. I want it to be able to get hit by a hammer, run over by a vehicle. I need them to last. But a lot of people seem to want these really thin, flimsy laptops, and these super slim form factor laptops seem to be a great option for pretty much everybody else. So,
and the thing with Chromebook is that Chrome OS is doesn't depend on expensive hardware or, hardware that has too high performance. So it's easier to make the Chromebook smaller and lighter.
Put more battery in the place where you would.
More battery, yeah. Good point.
Stability and support. This one I have to give Google a ton of props for. I did not
realize.
This
one surprises me.
I did not realize how long they supported their Chromebooks. There's actually a neat little website. I don't know if we talked about it or if I talked about it with someone else. But Google will actually tell you how long your Chromebook will last. Here it is.
Huh.
So it's support.google.com/Chrome answer something auto update policy. So you can come down here and find your Chromebook. So like for an example, the Chromebook I had to find was an Acer. And then you just go down, and it was an Acer C720 or something. It's like we just 720 make it a lot easier. And there it is. There's a Chromebook 11 C720, and the updates ended on June 2019.
Okay.
But we bought this computer in like 2012. Most Chromebooks have like an 8-year life. It's like you see some of these down here. It's like 2025, so that's coming up in 5 years. 2026. We got 2028. I wonder if we got 29. No 29s. We got 128. But this is just under Acers.
Okay,
like,
gotcha.
I bet Google would have a much farther out. Maybe not. They only got 2026s.
But still, 6 years.
For a $300 or a $350 laptop, you're like, that's an amazing. When even like Samsung on their Galaxy phones is like, we'll update it for 2 years and then give you 2 more years, I think, of security updates. I think that's what they do.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that.
But yeah, even on the Samsungs down here, the Galaxy Chromebook is supported till June 2028. If you can not step on your laptop for 8 years, I mean, go for it. But yeah, no. The stability and support, I was shocked on how long they support their laptops.
Yeah, me too. That's cool.
And then finally, backup and restore, which is pretty. I would say it was a given that Google backs
and
up
I would say
everything you
this
do.
is I would say this is also true for
Mac.
Windows and Mac, because it says the biggest benefits of the Chromebook is that everything is done within Chrome, which means that when you switch devices, you don't lose any files, photos, blah, blah, blah. But that's going to be true if you use Google Tools on a Windows machine or Mac machine too, right? Like if you save your photos on the Photos app on your Windows machine and you get a new Windows machine, they're still going to be there.
If you're paying for OneDrive.
If you're using Chrome.
Yeah, if there so like even in a Chromebook, they have a Photos app inside the Chromebook.
Okay.
And so that it's almost like the Photos app on your Android.
Backup.
It's exactly the same
Gotcha.
thing, and it just gets backed up to not OneDrive, Google Drive.
Mm-hmm. Because this says that you can switch to device to device without losing any files except for any offline content.
Yes.
Which is going to be the same
Stored on
for
OneDrive.
Windows or Mac too. If anything's offline,
it will get
obviously
wiped.
backed up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had one customer 3 weeks ago or so now. It's been a little bit. And they had a Chromebook, and it was causing problems. So what I did was I wrote down their Gmail and their passwords. They gave me their password to log into the computer.
Okay.
Shocking, right?
Yep.
And so I write that down on a separate piece of paper, and then I got their permission, and it's called Chrome Power Wash, and it just deletes the whole MacBook. And so it deletes all the settings, it deletes everything, so it's fresh for someone else. Mm-hmm. And then I just sign in again using his email and password. The problem was literally still there.
Wow.
It saved literally everything. It was super weird. So then I had to go in, and there's another setting to reset like the majority of Chrome settings. It's kind of like that weird Windows 10 thing that we were talking about last week, where it's 14 different ways to reset a computer.
Yeah.
And it reset most of the Chrome settings, and that seemed to have fixed the problem.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was weird to power wash a computer, and it was like, welcome to Chromebook. Please, create an account or sign in. So I just signed in, and then everything just started showing back up. I was like, great. But yeah, it literally backs up everything. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That is nice. Or convenient.
It's very convenient, yeah. For when you want to. That's how you blow through 9 topics in 40 minutes.
And then finally, Google fact-checking images.
Dude, I really can't count, can I?
Sometimes.
That's 8 topics in 40 minutes. We gotta drag this topic out for what, 20 more minutes? We got it?
That's gonna be tough.
So this is super weird, because we just did a Google image search on camera, and it didn't show this. So I'm obviously not part of the beta. But here it's showing you, so someone Googled searched for images, shark swimming in street Houston. And then they clicked on this image right down here. Let me make sure people can see it. And it pops it up on the sidebar. And then down here it says, fact checked from PolitiFact. Claim, photo shows a shark swimming on the freeway in Houston. Rated by PolitiFact. Pants on fire. Are you trying the exact search now?
Yes, I am. Let's see. Sharks.
If it works for you, I'll be almost upset, because I was hoping that it would show up while I was doing that image search, and it didn't.
Houston. Look at images.
But I'll be curious on all the different platforms they can use for verifying facts. It says right now the company is using the open claim review method also used for YouTube, to provide fact checks from a variety of independent, authoritative sources like PolitiFact. So it'd be interesting to see if there would also be like Snopes, or if it would literally link Wikipedia.
So for me, I see these images, and the news articles, there's no disclaimer or anything, but two of the images are, one is a PolitiFact article and one is a Snopes article. But it's not like how Twitter has the little banner underneath the tweet. So maybe I'm not part of the beta, or I could be missing something, but
Let's see. I'm gonna do exactly their wording too. It's hard to believe that two guys that live so close together wouldn't be in the same type of beta, right?
yeah.
Let's see images. Yeah, like this one. Yes, it's not doing it for me either here. So I did the exact same. Sharks are swimming in street of Houston. And then this is even the same website, the PolitiFact website. And then it should show up right below it, according to that image. But looks like we're not part of that.
We're not important enough, apparently.
Strange. I wonder if it'll if it might take some time. They can't roll out a feature overnight, right?
I guess they're testing it out to make sure there are no bugs or sharks.
Or sharks. I can't believe we blew through 9 topics, right? I'll make you double check them now.
That's 9, yeah.
We did so well for so long.
Hopefully next week we'll have a somewhat big announcement.
Huge.
It's huge. Big. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great.
But yeah, no, I think next week we'll be set for it.
Sounds good. You'll have to wonder what we're talking about or teching about.